We've seen what the Royal Navy's band of brothers can do, defeating the Royal Air Force just over a week ago. Can they complete the double and win that inter-services title, or will the Army reign supreme here today? Hello and welcome to Odsall Stadium, one of the most famous venues in rugby league here in the heart of Bradford, the home of course of Bradford Bulls, but today playing host to the 22 Army versus Navy clash in the Inter-Services Championship. Now the Navy of course, after their 22-12 win over the RAF last week in Portsmouth, could win their first title in 5 years, and they beat the Army in the Challenge Cup in January to progress through to what was a record-breaking round 4 of the competition for them, and in so doing of course they became the Royal Navy's Team of the Year. But will they get the upper hand today? Well, let's find out the view, shall we, from the two camps, and we'll start with the Army's head coach, WO1 Mike Thompson. Well, Mike Thompson, our Army head coach, it's great to obviously have inter-services competition back, isn't it, and to be taking on the Navy again.
Yeah, massively excited. It seems like an eternity ago since we played them. It was only back in January. But yeah, back in the services, first time in 2 years, it's going to be a massive game.
You've seen how well they did against the RAF last week. How are you going to go about beating the Band of Brothers today?
We've just got to play our own game. Try not to be complacent, you know, just do what we've done in training, and just play for each other, work for each other, and again, like I said, just get back on the horse. We've gone back to the drawing board and we just need to play our own game, keep it simple and just play simple stuff.
Would you consider yourselves underdogs today?
I think we are underdogs. The Navy are playing very well at the moment. You know, they've had a very good year. They got to round 4 in the Challenge Cup. They created their own history, and as you mentioned, they've beaten the RAF well last week. So I think we are underdogs, but sometimes it's better to be that way because you know, they'll come out with their feathers up because they're playing well, and all we need to do is just play our game, and then, you know, if we play our game, then hopefully we'll come out on top.
Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Obviously, you know, the lads will be still on cloud 9, I'm sure, after the victory last Friday against the RAF, but a whole new ball game today. Chance of winning your first title in 5 years?
Yeah, you can't believe it, can you? Like, after what happened last year when we had to pull out, we've come back really strong, and you're right, it is an all new ball game. We've had to change up how we play and how we're going to attack and defence against the Army.
You've been able to make a couple of changes though, haven't you? Were they forced through injury?
We took a lot of injuries during that game, but we've rested up. We haven't trained much this week. We've looked at rehab and stuff, but yeah, we brought up young Charlie Mattison. I think he's only been in the Navy about 12 months. He's going to start for us, and then we've lost one guy, Eden. And we've brought up a young kid who's leaving in 2 weeks. He's leaving the Navy in 2 weeks. He's good. This will be his final sort of game for us.
Okay, and obviously the Army, a wounded animal in a way. You beat them in the Challenge Cup to go on that wonderful run that you had, which has, you know, made the Royal Navy Rugby League team the Navy's Team of the Year. Proud times. Oh,
fantastic! I think it's the second time in our history, but. Also, we haven't looked back at the Challenge Cup, and I'm sure the Army are. Today's a different game, and we know, being around that long, John, that inter-services is a spectacle in itself, and we've got to prepare for that.
Well, good luck today.
Thank you very much, John.
Now, Steve Lockton there giving us his thoughts and his views ahead of the game. Before that, of course, WO1 Mike Thompson, who's the head coach of the British Army, as we look forward to a terrific game of rugby league here in what is probably one of the heartlands of the sport here in Yorkshire, certainly in the north of England. It's Odsal Stadium, the home of Bradford Bulls, but very much the home of Inter-Services Rugby this afternoon. Army-Navy clash, and it's my great pleasure to welcome alongside today to join me for the commentary the one and only Damien Clayton, who I've known for many years as a player, as a coach, of course, and now very much running the UCAF Rugby League setup as well. But Damien, very much an RAF officer these days. Welcome along. Great to have you alongside.
Thanks, John. Yeah, it's my pleasure.
It's great to have you with us today. Before we run through the two teams, of course, we're just waiting for them to come out onto the field here for the game, which kicks off in about 5 minutes at 4 o'clock. Let me bring you up to date with what else has happened here, because we've had two other games here at Odsal Stadium so far this afternoon. The development match was an early kick-off. It was a victory for the Royal Navy by 32 points to 12 in that game. A really exciting match, actually, played in front of an enthusiastic crowd here at Odsal. And then after that, at 2 o'clock, we had the Army women. Now, of course, they were supposed to be playing the Royal Navy today, but unfortunately, the Navy had to pull their team out of the competition, having lost very narrowly last week to the RAF. It was 24-20 the final score down in Portsmouth last week. But unfortunately, the Navy, I think largely because quite a lot of their players play rugby union, and of course it's the UCAF Women's Rugby Union side have gone out to play the IDRC in New Zealand, and so some of those players have had to go there. So no side for them. But the Army did play a game, and it was a great credit actually to Stanningley and to West Bowling, who brought in a sort of a joint team to play against the Army women today. But the Army women's side are incredibly strong, as we all know, and they ran in an absolute hatful of tries, winning the game by 82 points to 0. I ran out actually of paper to note down how many tries they scored, but they looked very, very good indeed. And of course, we're waiting to see whether there will be an inter-services fixture next week when the RAF are due to take on the Army to decide whether there will be an inter-services championship. Maybe one we can discuss there, Damien.
Yeah, there'll most definitely be a game next week. The Royal Air Force are primed and ready to take on the Army over at Salford next week, so that should be a good comp. I'd just like to add there, John, to get the team together at short notice, the two civilian teams, it shows what the rugby league community do to make sure that the Army women had a game this afternoon and were part of this inter-service programme.
Very much so. And do you know, the Army women, they actually gave full respect, didn't they, to the West Bowling and the Stanningley women's team by playing their very best rugby. They were very good.
Yeah, absolutely. They're very good performances, like you said earlier in the introduction. A strong team, a good benchmark behind the team, plenty of players to choose from, so a great advert for Armed Forces Women Rugby League this afternoon.
OK, well, let's concentrate then, shall we, on the game to come. We're just waiting for the players to come out onto the field, and maybe it gives us an opportunity to run through the two teams first, starting with the Army. And I know that Mike Thompson, you heard there in the pre-match, says his side are very much the underdogs here today, basically sort of starting. But if you look down their side, look at their vice-captain Pete Holmes, their captain Jordan Kerman, huge amount of experience. Mike Harrison there as well, wearing number 12, and they've got some Fijian stars as well. So this Army side, of course, they lost in the Challenge Cup to the RAF, didn't they?
To the Royal Navy, yeah.
To the Royal Navy, and so they are going to be really up for this game today.
Oh, most definitely. It's the first game of the inter-services, John, and you know what it's like. You know, this is like state of origin type football. We've had quite a few of these players playing for UCAF this year in the President's Cup. Declan Baines has really stepped up. He's playing at 7. Kerman, you know what you're going to get out of Kerman. And I feel that Pete Holmes in the centre there can really get amongst the Royal Navy back rowers and make some inroads there. His defence is absolutely awesome, and if these guys perform today, I think we're in for a cracker.
I think you're right, and of course the Royal Navy, well, they come here having secured an excellent win, it has to be said, against the Royal Air Force, but all credit to the Air Force team for coming back. They were 22-0 down, 22-12 was the final score, so a good performance from the Air Force. to come back, but the Navy were very, very strong indeed, weren't they? And looking down the side that Steve Lockton has chosen, he's not had to make too many changes actually to his team today. Just a couple of alterations because it was Brodie Lee Butler has to go to the bench because of an injury he picked up, and there was also another injury to Eden Quantock in that, so he's missing from the interchanges this afternoon. But it's a very, very strong side. You know, you have to look no further than Daz Bamford and also James Tilley, who absolutely dominated the game last week.
Yeah, absolutely. I watched it online actually, John, and I thought that the spine of the team, your nine, your halves, were really top notch. I thought they were very comfortable, the Royal Navy, in the win. Obviously the Air Force scored a couple of tries later on, but I thought it was a comfortable win for the Royal Navy. Again, if Bamford performs and the Army give him so much time on the ball, then he could dictate play again, I think, today.
Well, he's an absolute master, isn't he? I mean, he won't tell me his age, but he must be well past 30.
I think he's nearly as old as me.
But he's an astonishing player, and to be fair, you know, you're quite right. They absolutely dominated the game last week, and you know, I don't think that 22 points flattered them. You know, 22-0, because the RAF just had no response until probably the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, I thought, like I say, you know, watching the game, the RAF had some good periods of possession, but they weren't able to get across the line, and the Navy defence held strong, and I thought they were comfortable. Honestly, I thought they were comfortable. And Brodie Lee Butler, for me, he's played UCAF this year. He a slight individual, but a real strong, powerful kid, and he made some key breaks at key times that's put the Navy on the front foot for me when I watched the game.
And of course, Brodie he's on the bench today. He's one of the interchangers. We'll be wearing number 14. I'm sure we're going to see him. In fact, I'm sure we'll see all of the players get a game at some stage. But match winners, I mean, we've already mentioned the Army. Pete Holmes, of course, the vice captain. He really is a great player. Let's just take a break though for the national anthem, shall we? I don't know about you, Damien, but it still seems a bit odd hearing "God Save the King," doesn't it, rather than "God Save the Queen"? I know that, you know, you were presented with the MBE by Her Majesty, and so it's you know, it's very strange times, isn't it?
Absolutely. I did quite a bit of reflection actually over the last few weeks. You know, looking at some of my old photographs and my. When she presented the MBE to me, it was a fantastic occasion, and yeah, it is a bit strange, to be honest.
It really is, but much missed, but much loved, and sport continues, and obviously His Majesty King Charles III, I'm sure, is going to be just as interested in what his servicemen are doing on the sports field as, of course, we are. So we're about ready to kick off. Don't forget, wherever you are around the Forces world today, you'll be more than welcome to join us for comments on Facebook and of course on YouTube. Chris Kilby says, come on the Royal Navy. Carl Sid Millwall says, come on Army, blow the rivets out of the Navy. And Chris Blackwell says, come on you Brits. So keep those calls coming in, those messages, and we'll try and get through them as best we can throughout the course of the game. Into the first phase then, the Navy have the ball, and there's Daz Bamford straight away collecting, and the
good strong defence there.
Yeah, already from the Army. They'll want to make their mark quickly in this game, and we will obviously both teams will take a few minutes to settle down. Once again, that the kick forward on the sixth tackle. It's a brilliant kick. What a magnificent kick.
That was early in the tackle count as well. That was on the fourth play there. So they've signalled their intent early to get out of yardage for the Army there. That's a great kick. And
James Tilley.
Yeah, Royal Navy ball.
Yeah, Tilley, man of the match last week against the Air Force, had a superb game at scrum half, and well, he's already made his intentions clear, hasn't he, with that kick. Sun shining brightly here at Odsal. We've had virtually every bit of weather that I think you could have in West Yorkshire so far today, with high winds which almost blew all our equipment away, and also we've had some driving rain, but the sun's shining on us at the moment here as we have these first couple of minutes then of this game. And Navy straight away with the opportunity. That's Jack Ray, will retrieve it, brought to ground though by Pete Holmes. He's going to have such an important part to play in this side today. Driving forward is Matt Holland, wearing number 12 for the Navy. Our officials, by the way, Aidan Rhodes from the Rugby League. And it's straight over for a try. Early doors for the Navy. Well, what a start for them. What a start for the Navy.
Yeah, they've obviously identified some weakness in the planning for this game down the Army's right-hand side defence, and that was well worked. But again, it was from a great kick, 40-20 from Tilley from dummy half, got them on the front foot. So that's a great start for the Royal Navy.
And it was Daz Bamford who went over. We've not even had 2 minutes played here. What a start for the Royal Navy. And I know that Steve Lockton will be absolutely thrilled. He was delighted with what he saw last week for about 75 minutes or 70 minutes, and he will be absolutely delighted with the start that the band of brothers have made. And of course, a victory for the Navy today will give them the title, Damien.
Inter-Services Championship, yeah. Well,
for the first time in 5 years.
Well, if they win today, then they thoroughly deserved it.
It's the perfect start for them, and it's the worst possible start, of course, for Mike Thompson and the Army team. Bamford, bit of a swirling wind to deal with this kick, but
he needs to watch that knee.
But when he's on form, he just absolutely rules a game, and we've just seen it. Takes the kick, and I think he's just screwed it just to the left of the post. And so 4-0 remains the score then to the Navy, but a fantastic start for them in this second inter-services game of the season. Don't forget, we didn't have inter-services rugby last year because of the Navy's inability to pick a side. They went on, of course, to reach the 4th round of the Challenge Cup for the first time in their history, and they are the Navy's Team of the Year this year, which is well deserved.
Yeah, I've seen that. That's good. It's great for the game.
So I'm sure we're going to have a few wags around here today who are going to add a bit of extra colour to the crowd who are in here at Odsal today. Maybe bringing it forward, the Army trying to pen them into the 20 metres. Bradley. And it takes several people to bring Bamford to earth. Touch judge unhappy with something. He spotted an infringement, and I think the ball will come back.
That's time off.
Yeah. Just a bit of a conflab between the officials.
Yeah, just what the Army didn't need there, a penalty coming out of yardage.
Army captain Jordan Kerman just having a few words with Aidan Rhodes. I think Baz Smart, who's one of the touch judges today, this is his last game involved in inter-services rugby, so we wish him all the best. Peter Parker, who refereed last week the senior match between the Navy and the RAF, he's the other touch judge today. So a scrum down then for the Navy. What's just taking a touch. Drops the ball. That ball will be a bit greasier, so we've had some...
yeah, the Army's very fortunate there. Lack of control of the football has turned it over on the first tackle, so the Army's got away with that really, and they need to make the most of this now. get a good set together.
Important moments for them to get themselves back into this game, trailing by 4 points to 0. Just over 5 minutes played in this first half. At half time, by the way, we'll be having a chat with Alicia Watson, who obviously injured at the moment. She wouldn't have been involved today for the Army women's team, but she's out for 9 months with quite a serious injury, and here supporting the team today. But had a great season, of course, for Leeds Rhinos. But that's at half time. We'll be hearing from Alicia. But it's the Army trying to drive themselves forward at the moment with Baines, the big number 13, Korobunyavu. Back to the scrum half. Nice interplay by the Army with Pete Holmes again going through, but the ball has gone forward.
He's given all instruction there. He said they were crossing there, ran the back of the Army player, and again Navy penalty. So
once again the Navy able to clear the danger. They'll do that all day long, won't they?
Absolutely. Army just needs to compose himself and get himself into the game.
Kerman going in for the tackle there. Navy again crossing the halfway line. This is the way they play with Tilley.
It seems they're getting at the at Declan Baines, actually. They're spotting the Army 7 there. If they make him tackle and defend hard, then he'll be less effective with the ball. So it looks like he's Lockton has identified that as a bit of a game plan, looking at early doors.
Well, swirling wind here around the stand, trying to blow our notes away, but we're holding on. Here come the Army.
Yeah, 0 tackle there, knock on from the Navy, so that's 0.
They've got a set of 6 now, or 5 tackles left, to see what they can make of this. But look at the Navy defence. It's been a real feature of their game, hasn't it? Not just how good they are in the attack, but also their ability to defend and ability to... Certainly they kept the RAF out for long periods last week. Drive from the big number 10, Watkin. Ball kick forward. That will go into touch. Navy ball. Eight and a half minutes played here. It remains 4-0 to the Royal Navy, and a very early try scored by Daz Bamford in the 2nd minute of the game, which he wasn't able to convert. They had the early score, but the Army have come back into it in these last few minutes.
Yeah, the Army need to get off the line here and get some whack.
Well, talking of whack, it looks like one of their players has taken a bit of a whack. Just looking, it looks like Pete Holmes.
Kev Brown, I think.
Kev Brown, yeah.
He can stand a whack.
They all can, to be fair.
To be fair, it looks like he's been whacked quite a few times.
Yeah, it does. Well, you all carry your scars, don't you?
Absolutely.
you all carry your scars of battle on the rugby field.
Yes. He's fearless, he's Brown. He puts his body where many wouldn't.
Yeah. The women do too, as we're hearing from Alicia a bit earlier on, and you'll be hearing at half time. But Navy bringing it out with Gavin Duffy, and it will go back.
That's the 3rd penalty now. The Army just need to sort the discipline out. That's 3-0 penalty count, and you can't sustain that for 80 minutes.
Otherwise the referee will start looking at sin bins, will he?
Well, they'll get fed up with it. And not only that, it's the metres they give away.
Tilly finds Bamford. Bamford runs into a couple of brick walls. And Tilly again. Nice work from the Navy. Reece Joel. And Griffiths. Referee signalling. I think that's the fifth. This is the fifth tackle coming up. Yeah, 5 tackles now, so this will be the last one. They'll have to go forward.
Good pressure from Watkins.
And here's Baines, darting number 7. That's Korivuka. Talking of Fijians, of course, I think you're hosting the Fijian side, aren't you, up at Leconfield?
Yeah, we've got them at Leconfield, the Fijian World Cup side, and they've had a great week.
Including Mitieli, I don't know how to pronounce his name, Vulikadachapani, who is LFC and Army, of course. Yeah, he's a gunner in the Royal Artillery, and it's they're up at Leconfield. You're hosting the guys up there. Yeah,
they've had a week before they actually go into the World Cup camp, and just a bit of team building, getting together as a team, and we've not rolled the red carpet out for them. They're getting stuck into 4-man room accommodation and enjoying the military way of life.
Well, most of them will be quite used to it, I'd imagine, with the Fijian forces. Injury at the moment, a bit of a worry for the Navy, and it looks like it's their scrum half James Tilley who is just receiving some attention. A player I would suggest they really couldn't afford to lose at this or any stage in the game.
Yeah, it'll be a big loss for him. He seems to be okay. Probably taking a breather.
As the ball is hoisted clear.
So let's see what the Army's got offensively.
But it remains 4-0. The Army then driving towards the line. This is probably the most dangerous, the closest they've been so far, as they head to the line with Billy Evie. And the ball goes out to Baines. Chance for the Army. Can they get themselves back into this? Very close to the line. It looks like they could be. Jordan Kerman. There's great pressure from the Army, the best that we've seen from them so far. Out to Baines again. Darting his way through, but the Navy's defence really once again coming to the fore. Can they hold out? Can they keep the Army at bay? Big Fijian goes through, and is he over? He is over, and it's a big
held up there. He's held
Billy
up.
Evie, no, is it held up?
Held up, yeah. Yep. Play the ball 10 minutes out.
Well, it just goes to prove the point, Damien. That the Navy defence is so good.
And they remain composed. That's the key there. They didn't panic when the numbers are flying at them. So Army ball now coming out of yardage. Okay, that's a penalty to the Army.
Little bit of disagreement going on there. Ed Collins says, "Come on, Army." Little messages we're getting through on Facebook. Keep those messages coming through for us, and wherever you are around the Forces world, we will endeavour to relay them wherever you are on Forces News Facebook and YouTube. There's Kerman. He's got such an important role to play as a captain. Here's Baines. And Holmes to the number 10, to Ryan Watkin. Navy still holding up. Army showing really for the first time how dangerous they can be. Spreading the ball wide to the number 8.
Boardman is over, is it?
No, he isn't.
No.
It's held up right on the line. Goes out to the number 13, to Believy. Still going, still tackling those, still challenging the Army. The Banda brothers, the Navy. Oh, and Baines has dropped it, but he knocked it backwards, not forward. No, did he knock it forward?
Yeah, he's give the scrum.
I thought he knocked it backwards.
Yeah, he's give the scrum, yeah.
So once again, the Navy holding this Army pressure. That's impressive stuff.
Yeah, they're doing well, but I can't help but thinking the Army just panicking a little bit. They just need to stick to the structures and play a decent set out, maybe get a repeat set, a little grubber into the in goal then, and put the pressure on the Royal Navy. The Royal Navy's not had that much pressure.
Jed Duffy says, come on, the Navy brothers. If you're just joining us, live here on Forces News, Facebook and YouTube, 4-0 is the score to the Army. We've played 17 minutes so far. Navy have been very much on the defensive in the last few minutes, but they've held out. And sometimes this is when they're at their most dangerous, when they've got the chance to break forward. Holding the Army at bay. Here's Bamford. That's a lovely ball. Drop though. Not forward, says the referee. And will that be a scrum to the Army, I think?
It's a scrum to the Army, absolutely. But the difference there is Bamford's taken the ball to the line. He's engaged some defenders. Had he have taken that the back rower, it'd have been through, and they'd have been on the front foot again. So the difference with the halves, the key positions, Bamford's taken the ball to the line, engaging defenders. Declan and Boardman need to start doing the same.
Army scrum then, be put in by Kev Brown, the scrum half. Baines.
Go.
There's Kerman. And Brown.
Oh, he's given a knock on there as well.
And you can see how delighted the Navy are about that, as once again they've held off their opponents. Randy De Bruin says, keep pushing hard, Army.
Yeah, that's poor. Second tackle, turning over possession when they're actually in good ball. Good shot.
That looked a little bit.
Not wrong with that jump on we're seeing.
From your point of view, I'm not sure that he would agree with you.
I'm sat in the stand at Odsal, and my eyes are getting bad.
I'll tell you what, with this wind blowing around, we need eyes in the back of our heads, because our camera equipment literally blew over just before we came live on air. So Kyle, who's looking after the camera today, Kyle Dixon, I think he's got one hand actually on the camera to make sure it stays absolutely upright. So if you see the camera wobbling a little bit, then please bear with us.
I think this break will do the Army a bit of good, actually. Their middles were struggling to get off the line there, so that the big number 8, I can't pronounce his name, John.
Yeah.
But
Lacanavera.
Yeah, he looked to be struggling getting off the line, so this break might have done him a favour.
Well, from an Army point of view, it's only 4-0, so there's still a long way to go in this game. But they will feel that they will need to get something from this pressure that they've been putting on the Navy. As Johnny Griffiths goes forward, brought to ground, takes 2 players. Scrum half James Tilley, impressive figure for the Navy here.
He's playing at hooker, John.
This is good ground for the Navy, just clearing the pressure from their point of view. Once again with Griffiths. Nice charge by Duffy, Gavin Duffy, wearing number 2. And that looked...
Yeah, I think that one was a high shot.
Bit of a high shot. Yeah.
He needs to tread carefully. That's the second in a row. He got away with the first one. Again, discipline. Probably the 6th penalty the Army's had in 25 minutes?
Yeah, something like that. Pete Holmes, by the way, he was the man who was down for the Army. He's up and back up on his feet again. But yeah, a few bit of head scratching, I'm sure, for Mike Thompson. He was saying that he had a good week of training this week and tried to go through an awful lot of the things that seem to be going wrong today. You know, the discipline, as you say. Referee having a quiet word.
I think he'd be lucky not to go in the bin in 10 minutes. He's been a bit of a pest. No, he's gone and sent him to the bin.
Yeah, so that's the scrum half, Kev Brown.
Yeah.
So Kev Brown will face the next 10 minutes in the sin bin. The hooker, so there'll have to be obviously a substitute hooker for the Army. That's lovely play from the Navy, spreading the ball wide onto the right hand side. Approaching that 20 metres. With Charlie Mattison. I think I'm right in saying that Mattison, he's actually leaving the Navy in the next few days. This is his last appearance in a Navy shirt. Probably not his last appearance in a rugby league shirt. Bamford. That's a beautiful ball.
That's forward all day long. Forward all day long.
Yeah. Well, I think Dakaluiga, I think he realised that, but it was forward.
Yeah, the Army just need to be smart now. Obviously playing with 12 men, they need to slow everything down, run that clock down until they can get Brown back on. It'll show a little bit of character. Who's going to step up and lead that team now?
The writing was on the wall there. It was fairly, I think it was a fairly, even from where we're sitting, it was a fairly clear-cut forward pass, but nevertheless, when Dakaluiga, he scored a couple of tries, didn't he, for the Navy the other night against the Air Force, and he has that pace wide on that right hand side.
Yeah, good yards from Boardman there.
It's Kerman brought to ground. Just over halfway through this first half, the Navy still leading by 4 points to 0. That early try from Daz Bamford. Army almost caught cold, but they are making something of things here with their fullback. Here's Marcus Mercer.
Yeah, one-on-one strip there, that was good.
Bamford again getting involved. Reece Joel. And Tilley.
Yeah, good carry from carry from Griffiths. That he's got to his point now. Let's see what the Navy's got.
Important moments here for the Navy. Tilley once again.
This is all about numbering up indeed now. Can they get the numbers right? Oh, and they force a knock on. Well done, Army. Oh, getting a bit touchy.
Yeah, I don't think Jack Ray was very happy with that. He's pulled away by his teammates. And we don't want to see any boxing this afternoon, do we?
Definitely not. He's probably just a little bit embarrassed he lost the ball there.
Penalty into the stand here. Do they actually do speedway here anymore on this old ground?
It's like stock car, but not stock cars. I don't think they actually get stuck into each other, but they've just started again this season. That's why the corners of the pitches are all different.
Yes.
So the Army's made a couple of subs there. Let's see what these middles can do.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be too au fait on the interchanges for the Army because they haven't given me the interchange numbers, so we'll try and get those at half time to be able to match up who is wearing what. Michael McDonald wearing number 15, or is that we'll just have to give you the numbers for now, but we will try and find out who's wearing what. Declan Baines wearing number 7, we know that.
Yeah.
Number 19 finds the fullback.
Not wrong with that.
Good work from the Army here. Brought to ground though was...
And it's an Army penalty for a late hit there, so...
Referee brings it back. What, to nearly the 40 metres.
But then this is positive for the Army, John. You know, they're down to 12 men.
Yeah.
They'll work that clock down.
This is really the time when, of course, the Navy want to be adding to their score when they've got a man advantage. But so far, Watkin. To the number 19, he finds Baines. And Pete Holmes takes basically 4 men to bring him down.
Play the ball. Oh, they're all offside.
Not spotted by the touch judge. Army still have it though, and they're spreading it wide to the big number 3, to Nuima Kraviuka. Real opportunity for the Army here. That's nice play from Baines again, jinking in between. But look at the challenges coming in again.
They need to get a repeat set here.
Going for the drop goal, or is he going for the corner? Oh, and he's touched it. Is that a try? No, it isn't.
So that's a drop out onto the sticks. Army will get possession again, so it's ended up pretty positive for them there. Let's put some more pressure on the Royal Navy.
I'm sure the Army would have felt maybe they could have got something out of that.
But this is about being patient. This is like playing your sets, make the Royal Navy defend. You don't have to score all every set.
Oh, he's knocked it forward. Well, you know, Ryan Watkin, you can't account for that, can you? Opportunity gone.
See, if I was Mike Thompson there, I'd be wondering what my prop forward was doing catching that ball.
Yeah.
And why my halves haven't taken it.
Well, so we played nearly half an hour of this match, and it still remains 4-0 to the Royal Navy. If you've just joined us live here on Forces News Facebook. Keep calm, Army. Long way to go yet, says Pete Battley. Good afternoon to you, Pete. I know that the Navy again driving their way forward. Keith Humpleby, I know he's watching this afternoon. Keith, get well soon. I think he's suffering from the flu, so he wasn't able to be here today. Tilly will be acting halfback, collects it, and the Navy are suddenly in the driving seat again, up against 12 players. Army so close to getting a try themselves. Tilly jinks his way through, and
that's a penalty there. He said he's ripped the ball out.
So what an opportunity this for the Navy to increase their lead here. A set of 6.
Confident, going for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And they are confident. That's the whole point. This group are a very confident group of players at the moment. That confidence carried through from the Challenge Cup last year, from the wonderful run. Losing to Backley not too far from here.
I think a lot of the confidence comes from Tilly at 9. He seems to be very, very composed, lots of time on the ball, and confidence will come off the back of that.
As you say, for a hooker, it's incredible, isn't it? And he sees so much of the ball.
It is incredible. Look at the size of him. I'd have thought it was a front rower.
Yeah. So there's 4 tackles gone. Tilly will have it again. But it goes forward. It's a bit of relief for the Army. Well, they're quite pleased, really, I think, to have got themselves together. But you can see, look at Pete Holmes. He's down. He's just on his haunches at the moment, the number 4. And you wonder, he took a knock earlier on. I wonder how long Pete can stay on the pitch. One of the Navy players also, it looks like Bamford actually is just receiving a bit of treatment as well at the moment.
It's been scrappy so far, John, hasn't it?
It's not been. It's actually Tilly. It's not been. Yeah, it's not been the most exciting of games. That early try for the Navy, you thought, right, we're going to have a bit of a hatful, but so far it's not been like that. But you know, there's so much at stake here, isn't there? I mean, I think that any inter-services clash, Damien, it doesn't matter who's playing, Army, Navy, RAF, there's always that almost fear of losing in a way.
Absolutely, it's an incredible game to play in. I've played in quite a few, as you well know, and form goes out the window. It's just inter-service football.
And while the score is 4-0, well, it's anyone's game. Ball goes wide to Baines, and here's the fullback Mercer. Wide now on that left hand side. Mercer still going. Baines again. And Watkin. The 10-minute sin bin will soon be over. I think the Army will soon be back to full strength again.
He's back on now, yeah. He's back on his brown.
Ball goes forwards.
And that's a poor end to a set. It's a poor end to a set.
It's almost like they panic when they get to the 5th tackle, don't they?
Yeah, and that's, you know, Mike Thompson, I'm sure, has got a structure, he's got a game plan, and he will not be happy with where these sets are ending.
So the Navy have it one more time. And Jack Bartlett.
That's great, D. That's great, D.
Yeah.
Lots of energy.
Great.
Down in the middle of that. Kerman in the middle of that. No, he's not.
Oof,
Great shot. That's a big tough carry there from Ben Taylor. But this is what inter-service is about, getting stuck in.
Well, Ben very much on home turf is here, isn't he? And here he is again.
I don't know what the raising their arms about. That's a good tackle.
Atkinson goes to ground, or Matteson I should say goes to ground. And that's Johnny Griffiths for the Navy. And Tilly to Bamford. Now, what can the Navy do here?
Okay.
5 tackles, the last tackle coming up. So Bamford kicks for touch.
Yeah, and again, that's not dissimilar to the Army's finish of the set. That was poor. The hooker looked left there. Looked a little bit disjointed. Bamford got the ball on the right hand side and then pumped it in a touch. Not an ending to the set he would have wanted.
But it came off an Army player, so would it be an Army?
No. That's hand over to the Army.
Hand over to the Army. Okay. Yeah. Into the last 5 minutes of this first half here. Still 4-0 is the score to the Army. It's tight, it's close, scrappy at times, lots of mistakes from both teams, and I'm sure both coaches are going to be stressing that at half time. Cut the errors and the points will come.
Discipline out as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Decent little crowd here into the main stand here at Oddsall this afternoon have come in to watch this game. Baines with the kick forward. That's well collected though by Sean Horton, the fullback. He makes a good run.
He's done well there, but the Army can put some pressure on now and maybe get a 30 metre lock out of this.
Here's Bamford.
I mean, you don't want your half-back carrying the ball there, do you?
Not really.
So the Navy middles need to stand up now and take some carries.
Ben Taylor takes the hit.
Early kick.
Oh, it's charged down, but Bamford collects.
Yeah, another set for the Navy.
Yeah, this first half littered with errors, really.
Yeah. I mean, we ask our players to put pressure on the kicker, but it's a coach killer. You know, you've just worked hard for 5 tackles. You charge it down, and then the opposition's got another set of 6. You want them to put pressure on, but just hang off a little bit. Because they defended really well. They'd only got to the 30. Tilly was kicking early in the tackle count there because they were struggling. The middles weren't standing up. He's thought, I'm going to have to kick that downfield. And they've ended up with the ball back, which is a bit of a relief for their own over there.
It is, certainly going into these last few minutes and have a little bit of added time. According to the clock away to our right, we've got about 7 minutes left in this first half. The clock is being stopped, so we can get a reasonably accurate view of where we are. The clock that you'll be seeing at home, you know, reads around 39 minutes at the moment, but we've probably got about 7 or 8 minutes left in this first half, simply because of all the stoppages that we've had. So still plenty of time. Nice drive forward from Prescott. Sorry, from Horton, I should say, Houghton. Up in the air. Oh! He did well to hold on to it in the end,
well
but
there, yeah.
could have been a disaster for the Army, that one. Smythe, Andrew Smythe wearing 2.
So this is where the back 3 need to come in and do some work here, get some carries, your wingers and your fullback. Give your middles a breather.
Korivuka.
Good, they're on the front foot now. Navy's still struggling to get back.
Nice carry then from the Army.
That's a set restart as well. They're back to 1 there. Another set of 6. Put more pressure on the Royal Navy.
There's Kerman, the captain. Now what can the Army do here? Into the 20 metres. Just about see the lines. Great bit of play then from the number 19. Ball goes across the field. Boardman.
Push. Oh!
And it's one stolen by Bamford.
Now there's a knock on there. The offload. Boardman knocked on and picked up by the Royal Navy there.
The Navy defending once more. Good. There's an injury on that far side of the field. Looks to me a little bit like Kinney Dakaluiga, who's gone. No, is it?
Well, the introduction of Brodie Lee Butler now, I think.
Well, Brodie, who did pick up an injury in Portsmouth last week, but clearly fit enough to come on for the Navy now as an interchange. You're quite excited about him, aren't you?
I am. He's very deceiving. He shot me when he played at UCAF. He's quite a slight individual, but he certainly bats above his weight, and I think he did against the Air Force last week. Like I said, he made some key breaks at key times.
So the change has been made for the Navy. So Brodie has come on. Into the last 5 minutes.
Shot.
And there he is, straight into the action.
Early kick.
Don't often see that, do you? Don't often see early kicks.
Well, it's obviously Lockie's part of his game plan. They've done it about 3 or 4 times now. Straight out the dummy half, Tilly kicking early in the tackle count and turn the Army round. On that occasion, the fullback caught on the full, so was able to make some good yards coming back. Army straight into good ball. Let's see what they've got.
There's the big number 15. I think that's Michael McDonald. And Baines out wide. Kerman. That's a lovely bit of move, and here's Holmes, and he flicks the ball up, and it's straight into the hands of a Navy player. Well, my goodness me, that was almost a try for the Army. It was very intelligent play, actually, wasn't it, from Holmes? You know, because he knew he wasn't going to get to the line himself. But he flicked it up. The referee has brought.
Yeah, I thought Horton did well there coming across, because Holmes is tough. So to cover across and make a good tackle, force Holmes to do what he did.
Navy ball. And they're trying to hold out for these last 3 minutes of the first half here at Odsal. Leading 4-0. Early try. Daz Bamford, the man who got the try, which he failed to convert. But it's been a real attritional battle here. Lots of mistakes from both teams. I don't think the wind's helping very much, do you? It tends to swirl around in this bowl that is Odsal. That's a brilliant kick there.
Well, it's another kick early there. That didn't. It wasn't at 40-20, so that's Army ball. Like I say, clearly they're using this wind, and it's part of the tactics to do so. So the Army will definitely have another set here.
So 2.5 minutes to go. Live here on Forces News Facebook and on our YouTube channel this afternoon. Coverage from the 2022 Inter-Services Rugby League Championship. Remember, a win for the Navy here will guarantee them their first Inter-Services title for 5 seasons. But the Army with something to say about it, I'm sure, is Declan Baines, the sergeant in the Royal Signals.
Yeah, 19's been busy since he came on, actually, at hooker for the Army.
Yep. It could well be Ben Gibson, but we will check on those numbers for you.
Yeah, well taken.
It's a great take there from Dakaluga. did really well. That tackle looks a little high to me, but the referee has allowed play to go on. Jack Ray crunched.
Good shot.
And Butler challenged as well. Oh.
So it looks like the last set of this half's going to go to the Royal Navy.
Ball brought back to the 40-metre line, and I think we can safely say it's certainly been an attritional match so far, this inter-services game. Neither side really sparking yet. Maybe we're going to see that in the second half, Damien. Hopefully we're going to see some more tries.
Let's hope so.
Oh, that's really not... Oh, and that is a high tackle, surely. It's got to be a high tackle. And the number 15... That's...
I don't know what the penalty count is, but I reckon the Army's giving away at least 8 this half. And you're always going to struggle.
But it was such a high tackle again.
Yeah, having a shot at goal now, 4 seconds.
Well, he may as well. As the hooter goes. And if that scared you watching at home or wherever you are, it certainly scared us earlier on, I can tell you. That's the standard practice in rugby league, of course, to have an independent timekeeper and a hooter to signal that this will be the last kick of the game. So Daz Bamford, if he gets this, it'll be one heck of a kick.
I'm not so sure he's got the power in those other legs.
45 metres out. Takes it.
Oh,
it's good. Well, what a kick that is from Bamford. Well, that was a brilliant kick from Bamford. Well, he proved us all wrong there.
No,
didn't he,
well,
David?
it's great kick.
Well, it was a highlight of what's been a difficult first half, really, from many perspectives. How would you sum that up, Damien, as the players leave the field at half time?
I think it's been pretty scrappy, to be honest. I thought if you put a heat map on that pitch now over the 40 minutes, I think a lot of it has been played in the Royal Navy end. Obviously they got out of the blocks and had a great start, but for both teams, predominantly Army, the penalties that they're giving away, you just can't afford to do it at this level of football. And the Royal Navy kicking early in the tackle count, clearly that's a game plan to use the wind and turn the big Army forwards round. I think now, second half, Mike Thompson's word to this team is, listen, this is 40 minutes of football now. If we don't up our game, inter-service is done and dusted. They need to come out of the blocks down this second half.
They certainly do. Damien Clayton, thanks very much indeed for your incredibly valuable thoughts in that first half. Damien will of course be back with us for the second half. We're going to take a bit of a break now and check out some of the other sport that's been going on, in case you missed it.
I'm Richard Johnson and this is In Case You Missed It. Kat Matthews' first shot at the Kona Ironman triathlon title is on hold for another year. The Army physiotherapist was hit by a car on a training ride in Texas less than 2 weeks from the prestigious event in Hawaii. She's recovering from a cracked skull, vertebra and sternum. Get well soon, Kat. Now a story of a remarkable comeback from injury. The Army's Carrie Roberts has been included in the 24-strong England squad for the Women's Rugby League World Cup. Staff Sergeant Roberts, who plays for St Helens, tore her ankle ligament in this season's Challenge Cup final, but has worked her way back to full fitness. Army Corporal Danny Hedges is the Forces Rally Champion for 2022, along with his co-driver, the Navy's Jake Humphrey. It follows a great drive in the final event of the season, the Track Rod Rally in Yorkshire. 4 Land Rovers from the Armed Forces Rally team took part.
Fantastic, absolutely over the moon to win this round, especially being a home rally for myself. local lad. The whole day, to be fair, even from start to finish, has not been an easy one.
It's really good. It's a really important weekend for us to win, being the last race of the season for us. We're coming together really well as a team. We started off as a new crew this year, so the chemistry is really showing. The results prove it as well.
And congratulations to Sergeant Yamikani Guba of the 3rd Regiment Royal Horse Artillery. He won a silver medal at the British Taekwondo National Championships in Sheffield.
Well, you might have heard me mention a bit earlier on about the Royal Navy women's team unable really to field a side to compete here today in the Women's Championship, largely because quite a lot of the Navy contingent are involved in the Military World Cup for the women. That's in Rugby Union. The team have already flown out, of course, to New Zealand. But Kath Brazier has been talking to some of the members of the UK Armed Forces team as they prepare for the IDF.
In 2017, Amy Cockayne suffered the heartbreak of losing to New Zealand in the World Cup final. The flying forward played every game of that tournament and has continued to be a stalwart for the Red Roses ever since. She will now go again with England as they travel to the country where she grew up to try and come out on top this time. This squad are surely pre-tournament favourites, having just won their 25th test in a row.
If you look across those 25 games, there's been a lot of depth. We've played a lot of different variations in team, a lot of different players. We've got players that have got lots of caps, we've got players that haven't got many caps. So I think the variety we have in the team now is huge, and confidence that no matter who's on the pitch. I think we got caught short last World Cup. We had to make a few final changes and probably didn't practice that enough. So the fact that this time, we've played so many different varieties, whatever 15's on that pitch at the time, hopefully we'll get the job done.
England head coach Simon Middleton had to make some really bold decisions in choosing his World Cup squad this year, being blessed with a wealth of talent to pick from. But Amy was always in his plans.
I think she brings great character for a start, and quite a unique character, very laid back, but then knows when to get on it, in terms of the rugby piece. But I think the other bit she brings is incredible quality as a rugby player. She's a real high performer, great skill set. She's obviously a hooker, which means she's got a fantastic skill set throwing in at a line out, but she's also got great skills, just ball in hand. She runs the ball well. You saw her at the weekend, some of those great line breaks she made. That's quite commonplace.
Amy's habit of scoring tries as a hooker isn't something that's gone unnoticed at any level of the game.
I used to play on the wing at Lichfield, and Amy is a hooker who's meant to be like in and amongst things. As a winger, I'd kind of be working off my wing, going to look for the ball. Next minute, the ball's being passed out to the wing where Amy's hanging out and scoring tries.
You wouldn't really have to try it, and you literally score tries for fun. Like, it's been years since I scored a last try.
Really?
Yeah, it's been but like to you, you're like, wow, crazy, because it's just so alien.
Scored one at the weekend.
Literally, exactly.
Both Caris and Sarah will be taking part in their first World Cups, and as fate would have it, Wales and Scotland meet each other in their first match.
So obviously we've been training hard, but you two obviously played each other quite early on, first game. How are you both feeling about that then? Caris, you go for it. How's your prep been for us?
Yeah, the prep's been really good. I think probably Wales and Scotland are quite similarly matched teams. So Six Nations, the result was quite close. Wales came away with the win. Yeah, the girls feel really good and really positive about it, and we just want to go and do a job out in New Zealand. I think that first game is a very important game. There's no easy games in our pool, so if we win that game, then gives us a good shot of going to the quarters. If we don't, then it will be a tough kind of battle then with Australia and New Zealand also in our pool. What about you, Bonds? How's it going at Scotland?
That was a really diplomatic answer, fair play. But yeah, pretty much echo everything Caris has said. That game, I think, for both nations is a must win. So it's going to be like a fine battle, and I think excited to kind of step up to the opportunity.
Now Amy credits herself with getting Caris and Sarah their jobs with the RAF.
Obviously, you both have me to thank for your Air Force careers, because without me joining
Ian Cockayne.
Your dad.
But seriously, what an achievement to have these 3 elite athletes representing 3 different countries at the very top level. The World Cup gets underway on Saturday the 8th of October when England face Fiji in Auckland.
Well, at half-time, it's a great pleasure to be talking to Lance Corporal Alicia Watson, Leeds Rhinos, British Army, and Alicia, obviously great frustration for you at the moment because you'd much rather be out there playing. I know you've got a bit of an injury to sort out first.
Yeah, I've torn my ACL the second time, so it's just going through recovery again. Just waiting for surgery at the moment, and then 9 months of rehab.
It's been an interesting year, isn't it? Obviously for you, Leeds Rhinos. Obviously, you know the Premiership Grand Final. You were also, of course, Challenge Cup final up against a certain Carrie Roberts.
Yeah, I mean, more recently we've just won the Grand Final against York City Knights, and that was good. I think we deserved it. I think we did pretty well.
I mean, you've obviously played your part. You know, it's been a really important season, hasn't it, for you up at Headingley?
Yeah, it has. It's been my first proper season with Leeds, and I'm enjoying every minute of it. I just can't wait to get back out there next season and continue once I'm recovered.
And of course, we've got a World Cup to look forward to, men's and women's, and the Wheelchair World Cup just around the corner. You know, disappointment for you, obviously, that you'll be watching from the stands, but I know you'll be cheering England on, won't you?
Yeah, definitely cheering on Carrie as well. But yeah, no, I'll be watching England for sure. There's probably a few from the England side from Leeds anyway, so it'll be good to watch all of the girls really.
We've been watching obviously the Army women playing today. You haven't had an inter-services competition against the Navy this year, which is obviously disappointing for everyone, but Army Women's Rugby League has gone from strength to strength, hasn't it, over the last few years? Yeah,
I mean, I've been playing for 4 or 5 seasons now, and you know, the team, the ethos, the coaches, you know, massive thanks to the coaches as well that have stuck with us. We're just getting better and better and better, and I'm just excited to see, you know, where the next couple of years, where the girls go.
And with you and Leeds Rhinos, of course, anything can happen, can't it?
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Well, we wish you all the very best. Quick recovery, speedy recovery, and it's great to talk to you today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, great to talk then to Alicia Watson a bit earlier on today, and we wish her obviously a very speedy recovery from that very nasty injury, and hope that she'll be back playing again very soon. And before that, Kath Brazier talking to some of our international rugby union players heading out, of course, to the World Cup out there in New Zealand. So that's Rugby Union. We've had Rugby League, and we are just about ready to start the second half here of this inter-services clash between the Royal Navy and the Army. Away we go. And Damien, hopefully we're going to see a bit better in the second half.
Royal Navy need to hang on.
It'll be interesting to see how quickly the Army come out of the blocks here. 6-0, that late Daz Bamford penalty from all of 45 metres I should say, added those extra 2 points, and who knows, they could be crucial by the end of the afternoon here. But 6-0 half-time score. Bamford it was who got the very early try in the first half for the Royal Navy. The first half unfortunately littered with a lot of handling errors from both sides. Wondering whether we can put that down to the conditions as much as the tactics, but we'll be kind, shall we?
Let's be kind. I'm
John Knighton. I'm joined by Damien Clayton, who any of you associated with military rugby league will know is a man who's been around right from the start of the game in the British military all those years ago, playing for the RAF Blue Bombers down at...
It was, John, at Finley, against the French Army, 1992.
I know, and it's come a long way, has this sport in that time, and it's great to have you alongside today, Damien, as the Navy look for an early score early in this second half. That's their captain, Ben Taylor, going through. And here's Bamford, the centre of everything. That's a little kick up there, and it's just a little bit too high for Kinhi Dekaluga. And but you could see the intent again, couldn't you?
Absolutely, but both sets there ended with poor kicks, straight into touch, turnover possession.
Don't forget, wherever you are, we'd love to hear from you this afternoon, live as we are from Odsal Stadium here in Bradford. Messages keep coming through. Keep calm, Army. A long way to go yet. Actually, Pete has already said that. I think we're just repeating what he's already said. Stuart Bland says, great shot that, Kev Brown. But we'll just have to see whether the Army can pull themselves back into this game. Here's a man who maybe can. It's Staff Sergeant Jordan Kerman, who of course is the Army captain. Nathan Welch, by the way, wearing number 15, who's one of the interchanges on for the Army. Great take and really good play then from Sean Horton, the Navy fullback. Difficult ball to take in this swirling wind today.
Yeah, he did well there. The Army need to put some pressure on now in defence.
Well, that's not a good move. Not a good move, and I think that was Pete Holmes, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
I'm not sure what he was thinking about there, because, you know, the player was on the ground. Why lift him up like that? That's actually dangerous stuff. Holmes could well be sent to the bin, couldn't he, for a challenge like that?
He could, and the Rugby Football League quite rightly has clamped down on tackles like that this year with concussion and head knocks, and that was a bad tackle. It looked like he dropped him on his head from where I'm sat, John.
Not good. Not good at all.
I'd be lucky if he doesn't see 10 minutes, which is exactly what the Army didn't need.
Aidan Rhodes and his two touch judges, Baz Smart and Peter Parker.
What's he going to give now?
Well, words are being spoken to both captains. Jordan Kerman in the red shirts and Ben Taylor in the blue and white hoops. Stern words indeed.
We all know passions can run high in inter-service football, but they just need to maintain the discipline here.
We just don't need that. Well, it looks like words are probably going to be enough for now.
Oh, nice.
Then a penalty to the Navy, which we would have expected, and Jack Bartlett will tuck that into touch. Kev Brown is off the field again for the Army, the number 9. So has he been?
No, he got substituted. Yeah, late in the first half. He did.
I do have the numbers and the names now to match, by the way, for the Army interchanges, courtesy of our colleagues. Oh, that was another high tackle.
Off the chest, that, John, off the chest.
And here's Bamford. Takes a few people to bring him down. If this is Daz Bamford's last game for the Navy, he's just pulling his shorts back up again. Oh, well, it wasn't knocked forward, it was knocked backwards, so the Army have got away with that one.
For me, they just need to speed it up. There needs to be more of a sense of urgency here.
Yeah, well, from both sides, really. Mercer finds Liam McAmee at number 5. That was Michael McDonald, the number 19. He's a sprightly little player.
This centre down this left-hand side for the Army's got through some work. He's doing well.
Andrew Smythe, yeah, he's doing well. Declan Baines with the kick.
Did he touch it? Yeah, he's touched it. That's Army ball. See what they can do there. Another set.
Another set of 6 tackles then coming the way of the Army.
And this is where there needs to be a sense of urgency now. Make the Royal Navy work in defence. Up the tempo, British Army.
McDonald.
Oh.
It's one back by the Navy, though, stolen it.
He knocked on, actually, John. Yeah, he knocked on in the collision. Just put his hand up there. He needs to get off this line and get some whack.
There's Ben Taylor, the captain.
Griffiths, very deceiving. Big fella, gets through an awful lot of work. His brother Matt G plays for Halifax, actually, in the Championship.
Yeah. Loads of connections. Don't have to look too far, do you, to find these connections with the game up here and all over the country, really, as far as the forces are concerned. The kick goes up from Reece Joel, safely into the hands, though, of Marcus Mercer.
Here we go, let's play.
Well, once again the play grinds to a halt.
Tilley.
Yeah, it's James Tilley who's in the wars. He's got through some work again, hasn't he? He really has. Him and Bamford worked so hard.
Both of them look like they've got plenty of time on the ball, and that's an indication of good players. Always look as if they've got loads of time, dictating play, playing with their heads up, looking at what's in front of them.
And is that also an indication that maybe the Army are not closing them down enough?
No, it should, John. It generally good players like them too, Bamford and Tilley. They just generate more time, and that's an awareness of where they're playing on the pitch. Just taking a little step back, giving themselves more time, bringing the troops on, and actually playing what's in front of them, looking at the numbers either side of that ruck.
That comes from experience, doesn't it? I mean, there's no shortage of that in either of those players. Tilley up on his feet. And
I can't help but think that's tactical.
No. I'm sure you'd, if you were wearing your RAF hat on, you'd probably be thinking that ball drops.
So we've got a penalty now for the Army. 2-on-1 strip, let's go.
Remember, the Navy leading 6-0, an early try in that first half from Bamford, and he kicked the penalty goal right on half-time, the last kick of that first half. But opportunity now for the Navy with McDonald driving forward for the big number 15, that's Nathan Welsh. McDonald acting halfback. Feeds the number 6, feeds Boardman. Ball goes wide onto that right-hand side with Pete Holmes.
That's good D, good D.
Yeah. Opportunities, knocks for the Army here. That looks like Aaron McBride. Another of the interchanges has come on. Back to Baines. Forward, away onto this left-hand side. Surely the try for the Army. And it's the number 2.
Oh, let's give it a forward pass.
Forward pass. Oh, my goodness me.
Really interesting, actually, because his touch judge didn't give it. His touch judge ran to the end goal area, was giving that try, and the referees made the call.
So, Army thought they got themselves back into it, but their joy short-lived. Instead, the scrum goes to the Navy. Well, I thought that was a chance for the Army, and that's another high tackle, surely, from Boardman. The referee says, nope.
Lay on.
And Boardman again, making his presence felt.
Good offload there from Griffiths.
And here's Bamford, lovely jink from him. Runs into Pete Holmes. Tilley. Taylor, the captain. And Tilley again. No.
Yeah, he's lost the ball there, playing it, Ben Taylor. And this is good field position from the Army now. This is like the 4th set down in good ball. Let's see what they can do.
Do you feel the pendulum is swinging a little bit?
I think so. I think possession and territory-wise, the Army have had absolutely plenty of it. I'd like to see Boardman take the ball more to the line and engage some defenders. This centre on this left-hand side is playing well, so for me, that's where we need to exploit. Oh, the Army do.
Just under half an hour left to play as the rain falls here in Bradford. Army, though, opportunity with Boardman. Receives it again. Nice work from Believe. Out wide onto the right-hand side. Mercer.
Offside. So another set now. This is the third set the British Army's had here now.
And surely they've got to make something out of this.
Absolutely.
There's Jordan Kerman. Runs into a wall of Royal Navy. But still a real opportunity for the Army here to make something of this, to get themselves onto the score sheet. Nice play from Boardman. And is he over?
Yeah, he's over. That's try time.
Yeah.
And again, they've exploited this left-hand side attack there, the Army. But defending 3 sets is difficult in rugby league football. And the Army, the Royal Navy have come a cropper from that, really.
Well, the try has been given, and it looked like it's number 5, and then Liam McAmee, who's the scorer.
Yeah, and I think that's well deserved from the Army. They've had plenty of possession. It's they've not got off to a bad start this second half.
That brings the score back to 6 points to 4 now in favour of the Navy. Finally breached. And it will be Sapper Michael McDonald who will go for goal here, which could bring us back to parity. Not an easy kick on this left-hand side. And he's hooked it away to the right. So Liam McAmee's try has certainly brought the Army back into this, and they had to get something from that set, didn't they? You know, the penalty so close to the line, and they did it very intelligently.
Yeah, very much so.
So what will the Navy do here? I think this might liven things up quite a lot. Army will feel they have the momentum just at the moment. They've certainly been knocking on the door in this second half, and it's finally paid dividends for them with Jake Boardman on the 20-metre line. Good run from Mercer. Kick forward from Baines on the 6th tackle. That was great defensive work from the Navy as the fullback Horton picks it up. Bet Sean Horton.
Here we go.
Number 2 on number 2, Kimi Dakaluga. And Duffy.
Good pressure.
Bamford with the kick is pressurised though. Eventually goes out of play. Army ball. That's what I said, that you were saying earlier on that when Daz Bamford had so much time on the ball, he didn't then, did he?
No, and it's those extra efforts from people like the vice captain there, Holmes, putting pressure on the kicker.
Well, it's players like Pete Holmes who, you know, the Army are going to be expecting to step up to the plate here. They have the experience, and they can certainly pull themselves into this. Just 2 points behind now. We've got 24 minutes to play. So close. This game really could go either way. Remember, a win for the Navy guarantees them their first title in 5 years. The Army out to stop them. That was a forward pass, says the referee.
Just a lack of composure. You know, they need to get to the end of the sets and get a good kick in and methodically keep that pressure on the Navy if they want to get their heads in front.
The Navy certainly haven't played as well today as they played at home against the Air Force last week, Damien, and it's not that different a team. I just suppose it's the fact they come here to home territory for the Army. Is that, you know?
Well, there's a bit of pressure on the Royal Navy as well. They understand that they've got to win today to win the series outright. It may be Steve Lockton's last game as head coach, so there's quite a bit of pressure, and that's probably self-induced.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So it's Griffiths, the number 22, collects it, and that's a cruncher of a tackle. Brilliant tackle from Ben Gibson there. Bamford with the kick, high kick.
Good kick.
Who is going to be on the end of it? It's the fullback, Mercer.
He's done well, Mercer.
Yeah.
I think he's carried strong as well.
Not an easy one to take because it's so high. Smythe. Here's Kerman. And Baines.
That's Mercer.
Nice play from Mercer. Great run from the fullback. Eventually brought down, but he's made a lot of ground for the Army.
Let's play.
Army with the momentum here. Can they turn it into more points?
Here we go. Find your front.
Into the fifth tackle.
Reset now. Another set of 6 here, John. I think this number 19's he's done well since he's come on the hooker. He's caused some problems on there.
McDonald. A really awkward player. Kerman goes through. And here's McDonald again.
Gets it line.
Out to the wide, to the right hand side.
Go on.
With Holmes right on the line. Army with a real opportunity here to take the lead for the first time in this game. Gibson held up by desperate Navy tackling. Out wide again to Baines. Across to the fullback. Mercer.
3v1.
This is their last tackle in this set. It's got to go high. Baines with the kick. Oh, and a chance for the Army.
Try time, yeah.
It is a try. And this time it's Koryavuka who's got it. Well,
I'm not too sure how the touch judge on the far side can call that play.
Well, there's a lot of disagreements there. Conversations going on between the referee and his touch judges. Is it a try or
he's going to give it? He's going to give it.
He's going to give the try, is he?
Yeah, and fair play to him. I can't understand how a touch judge on the other side of the pitch can get involved in that. And I say that's Peter Parker over that side.
So it's Nimio Koryavuka who got the try there in the end. A second try for the Army. They've turned it round. Trailing 6-0 at half-time. They now lead by 8 points to 6. And the opportunity of another 2 points to come here from the conversion from the goal. And it will be the young sapper Michael McDonald who will take it.
Yeah, I take me off to the referee there. He'd listened to the touchdown on the far side. They came over and spoke to the one actually who was near where the play happened and made the call. Fair play to him.
Don't need VAR, do you?
No, not so.
So important kick this then from McDonald. And he has made it. Yeah, it's a really good kick. So the Army move into a 10 points to 6 lead here. Now 4 points ahead of the Royal Navy. What can the Navy do to respond in this last 18 or so minutes here at Odsal Stadium? Well, that was a bit of football skills there from the fullback.
They don't want to rest on the laurels here, the Army.
That's McAmee again, scorer of the first try. But the Army very much to the ascendancy at the moment, having all the possession, looking really dangerous. And they've made some good ground there, haven't they? That's a brilliant kick.
40-20.
40-20.
Yeah, great kick there. That's jumped out from dummy half. Great 40-20.
Just for those who are not familiar with what that means, Damien, 40-20, what does it mean?
So it's kicked it out of his own yardage before the 40-metre line. It's landed in the field of play and gone out of play within the opposition's 20-metre line, which gives them possession again.
40-20, and Jake Boardman going through the Army, threatening a third try here. Just playing the game at the moment, and
they just need to be composed here, John.
Yeah.
Make the Navy tackle, play the set out.
Drive for the line from the number 12 from Mike Harrison. This is looking strong for the Army again. They're so close to that line.
Repeat set.
They've got another set, and here's the fullback. Here's Mercer, tackled,
crossing there, penalty to the Army,
and they've got a real opportunity.
The Navy.
Yeah, the Navy have got the possession back. A few messages coming in. Scotty Partis is watching, and he does say to you, actually, Damien, you can't be cheering the Army, can you? It's supposed to be impartial.
Absolutely, Mr. Partis.
Pete Batley says, well in the Army, keep the pressure on. And thanks for all those messages coming through.
Just saying that, John, I think the Royal Navy right now could do with the Scotty Partis playing.
They could. What can they do here? Navy trailing for the first time since the second minute of this match. But if we know one thing about the Royal Navy, they never give up on a lost cause, do they? And there's no such thing as a lost cause for the Royal Navy.
He's smart, really.
And they've won the penalty. Will Bamford go for goal, I wonder, to bring us parity?
I can't help but think his old man, the referee there, he looked to offload that. Fair play to him. And again.
And they'll have another 6 tackles right on the 20-metre line.
Time off. Second penalty in a row there.
In the gathering gloom here at Odsal, I don't think they'll be putting the floodlights on. The idea of a 4 o'clock kickoff was to not have the lights on at all. But we are getting very dark here. Real chance for the Navy then. A set of 6 on the 20-metre line. Ball goes wide onto that left-hand side. And that's,
Butler.
Yeah. Brodie Lee Butler. That flame red hair. Navy driving for the line. Very, very close. Oh. That went a bit further back than expected, but Navy still with that opportunity. There was the full-back there. Sean Houghton rescued things for them. Here they go once more with Johnny Griffiths.
Tilly's off, yeah, great, good run.
It's taken a couple to get him down.
Last now.
Last tackle in this set. What can the Navy do? Little grubber kick forward.
7 tackle set now from the 20.
Just kicked out of play, a dead ball. But the Navy were very close there, Damien.
They were, but the Army's now got 7 tackles. This first, because it went dead from a kick, the first one doesn't count. That's 0 tackle.
So that set starts now then.
Yeah, that's right. He's done well in.
That's answered the question. Can you have 7 tackles in a game of rugby league? Yeah, of course.
Yes, you can, yeah, you can.
There's a question of sport one day. The rain really is falling very heavily now here at Odsal. Army have got the wind in their favour. The wind is dragging the rain from right to left. And it certainly suits the Army at the moment with...
There it goes, go on.
Boardman. And Boardman's still going. And that's a ridiculously high tackle. Allowed to go on, says the referee. But great opportunity for the Army to increase their lead with Mercer, the fullback.
OK, so the ball turnover now. Right just on the Royal Navy line. The Army need to get off there and get in the faces defensively. Oh, good carry, carry.
Great carry from the fullback. Yeah, he's done well there.
You know, carries like that, John, when you're coming out of yardage, you know you're going to get whacked. You know, it's who's going to put the hand up and do that, and Houghton did really well there.
Yeah, he certainly did. Here's Jack Ray.
Griffiths with yet another carry. Solid. He's awkward as well, awkward. He's got a set reset there, so another set of 6 now to the Navy.
Captain driving through, Ben Taylor onto the halfway line. The rain is absolutely unrelenting at the moment. Owen Salmon's watching. Good afternoon to you, Owen. That's nice play, lovely play from Gavin Duffy.
Yeah, good footwork.
Really creating opportunities. The crowd chatting for the Army players to get onside.
Keep working now.
Bamford with the kick.
Straight out in touch.
Just too far.
Yeah. Turnover on the 20 there, Army ball.
But they've got to try everything they can, haven't they now, the Navy?
They have, there's still 11 minutes to go, otherwise plenty of time in Rugby League.
This is real Yorkshire weather now. You may be able to hear on our FX microphone the rain absolutely coming down onto the stand. I'm very glad we're on this side of the stadium, to be honest, Damien. If we were on the other side, where everyone else is...
Tilly offside there. Army able to release the pressure, get the ball in touch and play a set out. And I'm glad I'm sat up here with you, John, on that pitch.
Just a few weeks ago we were in the middle of a drought.
That's a good kick.
My word. They did say showers today. Kieran Prescott says, let's go Army. Well, they are going at the moment. They're leading 10-6 into the last 10 minutes of this inter-services match. And they're heading for the line again, the Army. Navy just unable to stop this red surge. At the moment, ball goes back to Baines. Across field, here's Mercer, the fullback. Into the number 2 to Andrew Smythe. From the RLC, the Lance Corporal McDonald. Great tackling from the Navy.
Reset, he started the set again, so we've got another set here. Just need to be composed
Boardman
and play the set out. 2 Navy players down, set reset again. Oh, he stopped play. It's nowhere near him.
Well, looks like certainly one quite nasty injury down there.
Yeah, they've got Griffiths there. He's a tough boy, so there must be something wrong with him.
And that's also, looks like Tilley as well, who's down. Not for the first time in this game, it has to be said.
I was just about to say that, but I didn't want to make use of being impartial. Temp again.
Temp Providence. Julian McBride thanking us for the coverage this afternoon. Hope you can see through the rain, Julian, through our cameras today. The stock car track is well and truly soaked. Not a lot of fun walking on there, I can tell you from bitter experience earlier. Now, what can the Army do with this then?
Good, strong,
powerful drive from Vilivi.
That right hand side's looking tempting now. I've gone the wrong way. Oh,
yeah, it's brought forward, is it?
Yeah.
Bamford picks
Maybe
it up.
Ball.
Navy grinding their way towards the halfway. They win the penalty. Eight minutes to go.
Again, extremely frustrating for Mike Thompson. That third tackle, unnecessary headlock. It seemed to look from here.
Interesting, isn't it? No points at all have been scored at this right-hand side. The wind clearly has played its part today, Damien.
Definitely.
And it really is a strong, swirling wind that's going around Odsal Stadium. I think I'm right in saying this is one of the biggest, in terms of capacity, it's one of the biggest grounds in the Rugby League, isn't it?
Yeah, they sold the record actually for, there was I think there's about 107,000 for the Challenge Cup final replay between Warrington and Halifax. But folklore does say there was actually about 120,000 people here.
I don't think you get 120,000 in these days. They'd have to be crammed around the rafters, I think, in leaping onto the stand roof here. There's an injury to, it looks like Pete Holmes again, who's taken a knock. I don't think he's going to get up from this, you know. It looks like a head knock, and there's a lot of, quite rightly, need for absolute care with head injuries. Hope he's going to be okay. Taking in some water, and he's carrying on. So, the Navy, what can they do here? They're trailing by 4 points. They need a try to level it, conversion to take the lead. Wouldn't put it past them. But the Army have got their tails up. They have the lead here. They'll be mindful of what happened in January in the Challenge Cup when they were leading with just a few minutes to go, and the Navy suddenly found that extra surge that they required and produced the win.
Set restart again.
Another opportunity then for the Navy. Bamford lays it in across to Matheson. Oh, it's a drive for the line for the Navy. Pulled up right on the line. There goes Tilley. And it's over. That is a try for the Navy. Well, would you believe it? And look at what it means to them as well. It was a brilliant drive, and I'm fairly sure it was Ben Taylor who went over. Or was it the fullback? It's so difficult to tell. It's the fullback.
Yeah.
It's Sean Horton, and he's got the try.
Talk about a pressure kick for the skipper.
Well. 10-10. Would you believe it? The fullback's taken a bit of a knock. You never write the Navy off.
No, definitely not. And that was the third play down this end here. Interestingly enough, they had the centre who'd gone down with an injury. Referee didn't stop play, and absolutely the Royal Navy exploited that.
Oh, I know the Army must have thinking, is lightning going to strike twice? Bamford is quite capable of kicking this, even though it's into the wind, into a swirling wind. We've already seen what he can do with the boot right at the end of that first half to give the Navy a 6-0 lead. Well, the Army clawed it back, 2 tries to grab the lead in the second half. The Navy. Would you call this a pressure kick then?
Absolutely.
But he can handle it.
I think he's good for it.
The wind seems to have dropped as well. Interesting. This to give the Navy the lead once more with just 6.5 minutes to play here at Odsall. 10-all the score at the moment. Bamford then with the kick. Just composes himself. Here he goes. And you know what?
Oh, great
it's
kick.
Good.
Well done, Daz Bamford. Great kick.
Well, Daz Bamford does it once again. He raises his arms to the Navy supporters, of which there are many here in the stadium. Well. It's a great comeback from the Navy. They were under the cosh, for the majority of this second half. But what can the Army do to respond? They're running out of time. There's just 5 and a bit minutes to go, according to the timekeeper's clock.
They need to try and force an error here now and get the ball back in there. Good ball.
The Navy are so good, though, at managing a game towards the end, as we've seen time and time again. Are the Navy on the verge of an inter-services championship for the first time in 5 years?
Early kick again.
It's a really good kick, but it will be chased down. Well collected by Smythe. But look how much ground the Navy have made. No panic buttons yet. Mercer.
They need to play some football now. We've got just over 4 minutes left and they need to clearly get a score.
What have the Army got left in the tank?
I'm now looking how deep Horton is in defence there. 40-20 attempts.
That's going to go right out.
And that's a 7 tackle set. And quite rightly the Royal Navy taking their time.
Oh, they'll take all the time they need, won't they, now?
Absolutely.
All about game management now, Damien.
Yep.
From the Band of Brothers point of view. I'm sure there'll be a few people cheering down Portsmouth way and Plymouth way.
Rightly so.
At the moment. This will be a terrific performance from the Royal Navy if they can bring this one back and bring the championship home. And I suppose, you know, if you're going to do the analysis, the Army have probably only got themselves to blame for, you know, once again the discipline that's let them down.
Yeah. They've had plenty of possession in the right areas of the field.
And when they've had the ball, they've looked really strong. But just 3.5 minutes left.
Last tackle.
For the Navy to hold out. The 7th tackle. The kick goes up then from Tilly.
That's difficult. Oh.
And the Navy have got it back.
No, he's wiped the tackle count clean. Another set of 6.
Oh, my goodness me.
They just need to settle down now, the Navy, and the game's there.
He's put in a terrific performance, hasn't he, Sean Houghton, the fullback?
I think he's played well.
Yeah.
I think Bamford in the conditions, those 2 kicks have been pivotal to the game.
And he got a try too as well.
Yeah.
Here's Houghton again. The fullback Houghton. He's really put a shift in today for the Navy. And they lead.
And that fella's put a shift in there. Johnny Griffiths, the right shift.
12-10. Navy pushing for the line once more. This is the last tackle coming up. Lost though. Can the Army retrieve? Can the Army pull themselves clear? Ball comes back. The little fisticuffs coming up.
He needs to stop the clock though. And he has done now. 2 minutes to go. What an exciting end to this game.
Yeah, it has been an exciting end. It's been a much better second half, hasn't it?
Yes.
Fewer mistakes and a great comeback, first of all from the Army and then from the Navy too.
We've got 2 minutes to play.
Yeah.
Yet still all to play for.
Army have the scrum. Here's Mercer. Needs to make ground onto the 20-metre line. And Smythe. To Korakavuka. Who got that try.
I don't think Tilly's been onside yet.
Ball goes back. Great tackling from the Navy.
He's lost it as well. That's a great tackle.
And they've won it.
Yeah, they're happy with that.
They've won the ball and they know that it's theirs. Now, well, you have to take your hat off, don't you, to Steve Lockton and what he's achieved. If this is his last game as the Navy head coach, he's actually achieved so much for the brothers in his time, and this would be a crowning glory to win the Inter-Services Championship. They've got just a minute to go.
They need to try and force an error here now.
Desperate tackling from the Army, trying to get that ball back. There's Tilly.
Griffiths.
Looked a bit forward to me, that, but on we go. Bamford. Oh, what brilliant play from him. Fantastic from Bamford. Just runs into more trouble, but only 30 seconds remaining. That hooter is going to sound very, very shortly. Army desperate to get that ball back, but look at the Navy pushing for the line.
He's got through some work today. I reckon his high 20s for carries. Oh, he stopped the clock. He stopped the clock.
Right on 0.
Yeah. So look where Houghton is here.
Well, the Army have got it back.
So if the Army are smart here, little chip over. Houghton's really deep.
They've got to get this absolutely right, though, haven't they?
Oh,
there goes the hooter, and this will surely be it.
That's it.
And
well done, the Royal
the Navy have won the Inter-Services title, and look what it means to them all. They're absolutely delighted. You know, the Army have given so much in this match. They've given so much and fought their way back in the second half. But what a performance, what a recovery from the Navy. And they are absolutely delighted.
Well, and just look what it means to some of the Army boys there. They're really despondent, and because they'll know, John, they'll know that they had a great opportunity in that second half. They got back in front, and I'd say through probably a lack of discipline, let the door open for the Royal Navy, and fair play to them. They've exploited it down this right hand side here. Centre injured, exploited it, good try. Great kick from Bamford to take the lead, and well played, Royal Navy.
Well, we're getting messages coming through all the time, of course. Aisha Lockton, George Locko, told you, Warriors never give up. You haven't given up on the team all of your Navy career. Absolutely right. She still says, Darren Bamford absolutely played a blinder today. We couldn't agree more with you on that. Steve Davis says Charlie Davis, and Giles Kirby, who I think was our first message earlier on today, he says, well done the Royal Navy, well done the senior service. The Royal Navy are the Navy Team of the Year for 2022 for all sports, and well, it's the icing on the cake for them, Damien, today. Yeah, definitely, and to win an Inter-Services, it's no mean feat. Obviously they a little bit more comfortable last week against the Royal Air Force, but they've done well today. They've seen off a dogged Army team who I thought did really well to get back in the game, but you know, fair play to the Royal Navy for coming out champions as well. Well, I'm sure that the Army players are going to be congratulating their Navy colleagues, and you can see the warm congratulations from both sides for a really hard fought contest, which you know you absolutely take as a given, don't you, at this level. And not only that, but the Navy, you know, have shown today why they have got the reputation they have, because they're so resilient. I'd imagine that there'll be a bit of poetry possibly coming from Ben Taylor, the Yorkshire prose man. I'm sure there will. It'll be good as well. It'll be good. Oh, his poetry's brilliant. It's almost as good as his rugby playing. Yeah. But no, it's that some belief of the families in each other, coming out on the pitch. Look at that. I'm sure that Kyle, you know, you're picking up some of these lovely shots now. The families coming out onto the pitch to congratulate their dads who have produced the goods today. Not sure whether we're going to have some sort of a presentation at the end here. We should have, really. Well, it should be the Inter-Services Jack Trophy. Harrison Trophy, and then ultimately the Inter-Service Trophy. Yeah, the Jack Harrison Trophy for the Army-Navy game. Yeah, and the Inter-Services. Jack Harrison for the Army-Navy game, and then the Inter-Services because they're the champs overall. We are some distance away, of course, in the stand here, but we'll keep just with you for now, and then we'll try and get some reaction off live, which we can bring to you later online on our digital service. But I'm sure there's going to be plenty of Navy players who want to speak after this, Damien. I'm sure there will be. And Bamford, Tilley, Horton, and absolutely Steve Lockton will all want their say, and quite rightly so. They've done exceptionally well. Well, we are some distance away from here, and the presentation, I think, is going to be made on the pitch. So I think in terms of our live coverage, we're going to wrap it right now and try and get down onto the pitch to get some more reactions, which we will bring you later on, of course, on our digital service. But Damien, just like to say a huge thank you to you for joining us today, for adding your expertise, which has made it a really good afternoon for us. And I'm sure you'd agree that this game certainly lived up to its Inter-Services billing at the end. In fact, I think you can just see there is a trophy out there, so I'm not quite sure how close we can get to that. A presentation is going to be made. We'll stick with it, shall we, just so that we can actually show you live, you fans of Royal Navy Rugby League, your team receiving the trophy today, because it's clearly historic stuff. If you were choosing a man of the match, Damien, who would you go for?
Well, I'd have to go for one of the three I've just mentioned, Horton, Tilley or Bamford, but given Bamford kicked two pressure kicks and also scored the try, and the way he just dictates play, I'd probably go for Darren Bamford today.
Yeah, Daz Bamford, and over the course of the 2 inter-services games that he's played, he has been absolutely magnificent, so I think that will be a good call for man of the match. We'll officially find out, obviously, a little bit later who has officially been given the man of the match. The presentation, I think, is going to be made out there on the pitch. It's a shame that they can't really come to this side, because this is where all the spectators are, but obviously the players' tunnel is over there, and I think there's now some mentions going to be made from the VIPs who have joined us here today, and it's probably going to start raining again as well, so we're better off here in the stand.
In the stand, John.
We'll watch it from the stand side. Absolutely. Here, and we'll just bring you these last moments here as the rain begins to sheet down again. I can hear it on the stand roof here, but the players won't mind one little bit from both sides. Getting congratulations today for what has been maybe a somewhat disjointed first half, but certainly better in the second from both sides. The Navy just leading 6-0 at half time, but great reply from the Army, getting 2 tries to lead the game by 10 points to 6 going into the last 7 or 8 minutes of the game. And then it was the fullback Sean Houghton who got that winning try in the end, converted by Daz Bamford. And as you can see, the presentation has been made.
Well done the Royal Navy.
Well done the Royal Navy, and I know that's said very sincerely, Damien, but again, thanks ever so much for joining us today. It's been a great pleasure having you alongside today. From all of us here, that's myself and Kyle Dixon, our team, and our team back at base, that's James Smith and our director today, Sarah Bulls. From all of us, have yourself a very good evening, and from me, John Knighton, speak to you very soon. Bye for now. We've actually got 6 championship bouts, the very first ever UCAF women's title fight.
Has she got the legs? Yes, take it all the way. What a lovely run.
In the third and final period, the Army ran riot again.
There's nice symmetry in how they're
I know, it's weird. It's almost like they've done it on purpose.
Yeah. It's like watching Ants and Dec.